I had a few psychedelic experiences only with mushrooms before. So I wanted to try something deeper and hopefully not as uncomfortable as mushrooms. Because ayahuasca ceremonies are far away from where I live, and also expensive, I decided to buy myself a whole package with plenty of the 2 ayahuasca ingredients and brew it myself. After a few days with the proper diet avoiding certain ingredients that should not be present in the body when taking ayahuasca, I finally drank a medium amount of the brew. The taste was very bad, but still tolerable. A discomfort in the stomach started growing slowly but steadily while I was perceiving an increased weirdness in my perception of everything, including sounds. The discomfort kept on growing and I started noticing some patterns on the grass. There was some sort of very heavy darkness, pain and discomfort growing in me, that I never felt before. Then I closed my eyes and I noticed that I could see very high-definition images, but I could not understand very well what they meant, but they did have a meaning. I was just feeling too much discomfort to be able to focus on the meaning. In the meantime, a very weird nausea feeling kept on increasing as well. I could hear far away, a woman talking with a very strong voice, in an unknown language. I was really curious to understand what she was saying but I could not even detect which language she was using. She seemed to be saying something very important and with huge authority but I really could not understand anything. That was the first and last time in my life I could hear a voice that is not from the current dimension we live on Earth, despite having tried 4 other different kinds of psychedelics. While puking I could hear people thinking, "Is he going to puke?" and other people replying, "He is definitely going to puke." When the discomfort grew too much, it exploded in sudden puking. In a matter of seconds after hearing those being talking telepathically, I started puking. But that puking didn't feel as bad as other times that I puked. It felt like a release of something ugly, and despite still feeling a strong discomfort, I started to feel better. After puking 5 times I could now feel less pressure on my chest. From that moment I kept on getting better and feeling better every minute. And suddenly a very powerful idea came to my mind, that we all as humanity made the huge mistake of not loving each other, and that I was part of the problem because I didn't love enough those who loved me, those in need and everybody else. I felt very cold, so now that I was feeling a bit better to walk, I went to my room to put some clothes on, and there I noticed a very weird buzzing echo every time I made some noise. It was a totally otherworldly experience with emotions and sensations never experienced before. It was rather scary, but at the same time I was very curious and I decided to be patient and cope with it. The effect from there faded away, leaving me the impression that ayahuasca makes you feel important stuff, but it is too heavy. After a couple of days, I felt like I didn't experience enough, and that the first ayahuasca experience was just a cleanup, so I decided to drink aya again for the second time, but half the dose I took the first time. After half an hour it kicked in but in a very soft and manageable way, so I went for a walk to a park nearby. While I was in the park, I noticed that I was appreciating the beauty of nature more than usual and suddenly I understood that all that nature has been created by myself, my own consciousness, which is everybody's consciousness, because there is only one consciousness which is infinite love. At this point I fully understood that infinite love is the only truth, and everything else is illusion, a dream that this infinite consciousness and love is creating and which contains this universe and infinite dimensions, beings, species, for the ultimate purpose of loving each other. Because infinite love is infinite, it is alone because it is everything, so the only way to satisfy its infinite desire of loving, it fragmented itself into infinite number of beings to allow itself to love others, which in reality are the consciousness itself confined within a vessel of different genders, races, species and kingdoms with infinite variety. In that moment I started to feel a huge regret for not having loved everybody much more, and having respected and helped them all that I could. Despite the fact that I took ayahuasca, this second time I felt no discomfort at all and a huge increase in my emotions based on love and anything that comes from love, which is intelligence, wisdom, compassion, forgiveness and much more, because love was, is and always will be the source of everything. One impressive thing about ayahuasca is the clear mind I could enjoy for several hours, being capable of thinking and processing information, emotions and memories far more efficiently than I normally can without ayahuasca. After a few hours enjoying nature and talking to friends and family by phone, I decided to go back home and I saw people walking by, and I noticed that I could hear their thoughts and desires. For the first time in my life, I was experiencing full telepathy. It was a pretty amazing experience caused by an DMT disabling part of my ego, and allowing me to connect deeper with people without even talking to them. Ayahuasca taught me many things, like that Jesus came to earth as a reminder of what we really want and what we are really searching for, which is love. In reality, it was never ayahuasca teaching me anything, but was infinity revealing itself through this door, opening my ego to this universal consciousness, that allowed more infinity to flow within my ego, and filling it with love, wisdom and intelligence. Ayahuasca showed me that all animals and humans, and even plants, are vessels that contain consciousness, so the consciousness can stop being unique and alone, so to get separated from each other so we could love each other and create happiness. The problem with humans is that because they're complex minds, they can achieve amazing things, but also, since the human mind is so big, it creates a huge shadow behind the ego/mind system, and this often makes people confused within the shadow of their own mind maze and get lost into doing things that are totally opposite to love, creating governments, religions, oppression to others, which is not what they really want, but being lost into darkness. They know no other way, until light is shone on that darkness. This is where psychedelics come to help. With ayahuasca, I was even able to perceive the pleasure a horse I saw when I was passing by, while the horse was eating grass. I did not expect horses to enjoy eating grass that much. This is one of the marvels of the DMT, rightly called telepathy, when it was just discovered. I kept on taking ayahuasca several more times during weekends, and I kept on learning regarding the human mind, consciousness, emotions, and life after death. Because of my own curiosity and enthusiasm of other beings on the other side, eager to teach me, I was able to learn a big deal of how life after death is. I saw amazing gardens full of rotating flowers that were very conscious and were teaching especially to me about the absolute importance of love in so many different ways that cannot be fully understood and felt with the limited condition of the common human mindset. I learned how this life on earth is a mere illusion, a dream, that is a preparation for an amazing life full of infinitely permanent joy and happiness that we can all enjoy forever after death. Ayahuasca showed me huge gardens with billions of beings loving each other, learning infinite wisdom and enjoying life, love and infinite intelligence forever. Once we see those places, we only want to live there, but at the same time we also learn the wisdom that this life on earth allows us to gain. Despite not providing the same joy as after death, mortal life on earth is critically useful to prepare us to be able to enjoy infinite happiness after death. It becomes clear why many people decide to become vegan after taking ayahuasca, because ayahuasca shows us the pain and suffering animals are going through because of human exploitation against them. I gave ayahuasca to many people and most of them stopped eating meat, drinking alcohol and smoking. Some of them even changed jobs to avoid hurting animals. Ayahuasca showed me that for me and all humanity, something way better than expected is awaiting for us, both in this life and especially after death, but we need to prepare for it, and the only true preparation is reality, which is love, which is our own true consciousness. In one of my many ayahuasca trips, I saw a crazy horse running all over the place making a mess and hurting himself, but a man that closely resembled myself materialized on its side and started taking care of the horse, and the horse calmed down and became peaceful and happy. When I asked what was the meaning of that, a waterfall of understanding came to me, telling me without voice and with direct mind communication. The horse is your ego and the person taking care of the horse is your consciousness. Because you are looking to improve yourself by taking ayahuasca, your consciousness is awakening, learning to control the ego, and this is how you improve yourself as a human being. Your love will now control your ego, and your ego will no longer control you, so you will become a light portal to this world to teach others and lead by example. Because ayahuasca is very heavy and requires lots of preparation with a special diet, and the more I drink it the more I dislike its taste, I started drinking ayahuasca only once every 6 months or so, usually when some of my friends drink it, so I drink it with them. But despite being the same substance, every ayahuasca trip is beautiful on its own, with new and unexpected things that I see, understand and learn for the first time, increasing my wisdom, helping me improving relationship with others and becoming a useful help to society to show them the way to awaken into infinity. The first time under Aya, it was very hard to use the cell phone. The second time was hard but manageable, and then the neurogenesis promoted by DMT made it possible to even drive the car very safely under ayahuasca effect. I would discourage anyone from driving under the effect of psychedelics, but because I am experienced with ayahuasca I tried and I noticed that I never drove better the car, because for the first time I was not driving trying to get as fast as possible to the destination, but with ayahuasca, I was really concerned about other people's safety and comfort, driving slower, and with more kindness and understanding towards others.